The Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah. What year is your 911?
It's an 87.
That's a good year.
We're doing a safari build.
What does that mean?
Oh.
So you're making it like one of those off-road
rally
Porsches?
car.
A rally car?
Yeah, it's called the
God.
Keen Project. My friend Lee Keen is a Porsche racing driver, and he built one for himself. And it is the most glorious thing I've ever driven.
Oh.
And it's everything that you love about a 911 applies to this. On loose surface. There it is.
That's your car?
That's not my car. My car is going to look like that, although it will be a different color and have a roof rack, and it'll be slightly different.
That thing's crazy.
That actually is a Richard Tuttle build from England.
He's
if
the
you
guy
look
that
up,
made Chris
Jamie,
Harris's
look
car.
up Keen Safari, K-E-E-N, and you'll see closer to mine.
Tuttle's the guy that made that
Yes.
crazy green car.
Oh, this is my video of driving Lee's car. And it is, see, look, I was fatter there. So it's just drifty woods oversteer, and you know that rear engine kind of snapback thing that everyone's all afraid of in 911s, the pendulum thing.
Yeah.
Well, you get that when you slide and then it catches and comes back. On a loose surface, there's no catch. So you slide it, but you don't have the scary snapback. It just drifts and comes back and drifts. You know, there's Lee. He's building the thing.
So it's probably really good to have a rear engine bias.
It is
Look at
brilliant. It is the most controllable, delightful, and you've got 4 inches of extra suspension travel. So LA, speed bumps, ruts. Think about this in Los Angeles, right?
So you're going to drive this rally car around LA?
Yeah. It's not a race car. It's a street car.
Wow.
It's a street car, yeah. And then, you know...
That looks like so much fun, driving that in the dirt.
Oh, my God. We have so much desert here. No one cares. You go out to El Mirage, there's trails, like, there's no speed limits. Nobody gives a shit.
I got to be honest. There's 2 videos that made me get really interested in older Porsches. One of them was the Chris Harris build with the Tuttle, and the other one was you driving that Project Nasty car.
Joey Seeley. He's a local as well.
That car. I was like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Just like get it down to the raw dog.
Yeah, he took everything out of that car. And Richard Tuttle, who did Chris's car in England, is like the rally, master. He's like there's a Project Nasty. And there's Joey who built it.
And he also, I love the little things he did, like make the exhaust come through the rear bumper and those funky wheels on it. And the fact there's no carpeting at all. Like everything inside was stripped away.
His Instagram is Emotion Engineering, and that car has been through a few changes since this video was made. It looks a little different now.
He changed the wheels, right?
Different wheels, different, there's a bunch of different stuff, but it's amazing. And that guy, he used to be a part of this business, BBI Autosport. He left to go start his own business, Emotion Engineering, and he is a master of chassis setup.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
That's a very, very impressive video. It's a very interesting video. And that's not like the highest horsepower vehicle, right?
No, it was really light, though. I think it was...
How many horsepower did it have?
If I remember, maybe 375, 380. I mean, it was fast. It was not a slouch at all. But, have you seen what Singer is doing now with this air-cooled engine?
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, you sent me that whole thing of the price difference between a 911 engine, air-cooled engine that's got 200 horsepower versus one that's got 500 horsepower. And you're like, wow. Yeah,
the exponential curve of Porsche horsepower costs is really scary stuff.
The highest end was $250,000?
Yeah, so it was like, okay, if you to buy an engine, just an engine on a stand, you want that engine, this is Porsche air-cooled, so a Porsche engine for a Porsche that is earlier than 1995. 300 horsepower is going to run you about 40 grand, and that's a ton of money for not a lot of horsepower. 400 horsepower will run you about 100 grand. I mean, 100,000, that's an engine on a stand, nothing else. You want 500 horsepower out of that motor, it's $250,000.
Just for the engine?
Just for the engine.
Why is that? Because that sounds so crazy in comparison to other cars out there.
Because a lot of techniques that you would use to make horsepower in other cars, you cannot apply to a Porsche engine. You're limited on displacement size. So it's not like you could shove like a 9-liter V8 in there. Like a 4.2 is about as big displacement as you can get in that case. and that's with like a stroker crank and bored out, so you're increasing both the length the pistons move and the size of the hole. To get to the 500 horsepower mark, you have to run some highly experimental cylinder heads. And Singer, to do that, I don't know if Chris has been on the show recently, but he's working with Singer to develop, there's a company called Williams that is a Formula One team. They are developing the cylinder heads for Singer.
So Chris Harris is a part of this as
He's
well?
doing development driving for them.
Oh, that's great.
Which is a good decision, right?
Oh, that's an amazing decision. Plus, the videos will be epic.
Right. So most of they're doing a 4-valve air-cooled head, which, as far as I know, has never been done before. All your engine, my engine, all the are 2-valve engines, and they're doing a 4-valve engine. So,
and it's going to cost $1.5 million.
Well, the engine is $250,000. This is why. Yes. Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Custom cars are $1 million now. Isn't that nuts? I mean, if you really want something next level, it can easily be $1 million.
Jamie, pull up that new Singer 911.
Yeah, Singer 911 with the Williams engine.
It's green.
Yeah,
but it's got a lot of that. Who's the Japanese gentleman who takes those Porsches and stretches them out? RWB. Yeah. It's got a lot of that to it.
Well, so RWB is really interesting because in Japan, there's the Singer.
Don't you think that's a goddamn gorgeous car?
Yeah.
But don't you think it's an odd choice to artificially different? Stop, please. Keep it
look how sexy that is.
To artificially differentiate, like the way he's got the fender flares. He's making them like he had to glue them on. But the whole car is carbon fiber. So if the whole car is carbon fiber, why did they fake like they had like extensions?
Okay,
on the
so
wheel
I don't want to
wells?
disappoint you, but that is a rendering and not a picture of an actual car. Wow. As far as I know,
Really?
the actual car does not
so
exist.
Good.
And I think, if I had to guess, they put those over fender lines on the rendering so you would specifically notice that they have widened it.
That could be.
If I had to guess, the final car may not actually have a seam there.
You know what, man? I'm not mad if it does. It looks amazing. Jamie, can you make that bigger again? But that looks so real. That's crazy that that's not a photograph. Does that look like a render to you, Jamie?
I'm almost certain that's not a real car. I'm almost certain it's not a real car.
The tire looks a little.
The tire looks fake.
I could be wrong. There could be someone screaming at their whatever right now saying
Look
I'm
how
wrong, but
good,
I'm pretty
there's
sure
reflections in the windows.
they are good at this now. Have you played fucking Forza in the last 3 years? They're good at this, dude.
Well,
Play a video game.
I absolutely believe it. I'm not arguing against it. I'm just saying it's so good.
Yeah.
But anyway, if they make a car like that, holy shit, that's a gorgeous car.
Oh,
But
yeah. And they will. And it'll look like that, but it may not have those seams.
It's pretty similar to what their car looks like. I mean,
But
it's
wider.
not much different other than the wider. I saw one of those. It might have been the best looking car I've ever seen in my life. It was a silver, like a metallic silver, like a bright silver Singer.
Yeah.
And it was online.
Understated,
I saw it. I was like,
glorious.
God damn. See if you find that bright silver Singer.
Have you seen one in person before, up close?
Never.
Dude, your mind would be blown.
Really?
They have, at a minimum, $45,000 or $50,000 of leather in one of those cars in the interior. The leather work in the interior of those cars is unbelievable. It's beyond anything from any manufacturer today.
Really? Yeah. That's it.
That's a sexy motherfucker
God
right there.
damn, that's a good looking car.
Yep. That's very, very nice.
What is it about certain shapes, right? There's
Well,
certain
what
shapes,
Singer
like,
does is they distill, the best of each generation of car into one car.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at a highly idealized 911, but you can't exactly picture what came from where and why.
Yeah.
It's gangster.
And those Fuchs, those wheels, for whatever reason, they just work. Mm-hmm. Like, especially that green car. Go back to that green car, Jay.
They made them real big on the green car, but the design works so well. There's the Williams engine.
God damn.
Yeah.
That looks good.
Yeah.
But, like, that's perfect.
So scroll down, Jamie. The Williams. Look at this. So you see, look at the air intakes. That's where your rear windows would be. So there are no rear windows. There are only those air intakes that go directly into the engine.
Cool that furnace off.
That's not cooling. That's the actual air intake that gets into the combustion chamber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The cooling, it's air cooled. So you see that silver kind of nipple on the right side there? That's the center of the fan. It gets cooled in from the back there.
Now, like this is basically the same size as a regular inline six or
Flat
a straight
six.
flat six.
Yeah. Roughly, the engine itself is roughly the same size. Yeah.
So what they've done is just engineer it to the maximum.
Oh yeah. Well, they have what are in theory are the most advanced cylinder heads ever put onto an air-cooled 911.
That looks incredible. And they're going to stick that in a car that was originally, what, 93, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 91 to 94.
God.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny, though, that there's something unbelievably appealing about those air-cooled cars that is willing to have these rich people pay $1 million, or at least the current singers, $500,000 for this car, just because you feel it more.
Yeah.
When you drive it, it's just got a feel to it.
There's a certain kind of mechanical brilliance to it that's really, really, you can't, it's incomparable, really. It's very unique.
Yeah. Well, there's something about those old cars, particularly the ones that don't have power steering. You get a thrill out of them. There's a weird thrill, even when you're not even driving fast.
Well, especially with a Porsche, when you have no power steering combined with front engine car, it sucks. No power steering when the engine's in the back is okay because the front of the car is pretty light, so you don't need too much muscle. But the 911 steering is just super, super direct.
Yeah, it's super direct, and it's just, I don't know, man. It just feels like a different thing you're doing. You know, I had a buddy that had a Volkswagen Bug growing up. Didn't have a lot of power in it, but those Volkswagen Bugs, those fucking things, like when you drive them around, they give you a little smile on your face because you're driving like this little tiny thing that feels completely connected with the road. It's not very capable. But it's like you're smiling when you drive one of those. It's
Have
like
you seen
in a little ride.
The ultimate Volkswagen is they're taking in Germany. They take the buses, the micro buses, and they chop them down so they're compressed, and they put full Porsche floor pan drivetrain. And so remember that 996 turbo you had, the all-wheel drive. So they'll put that whole floor pan on a micro bus, and they'll go to like track days and beat up on race cars. It's crazy.